Hello there, everybody. Good afternoon. I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach. I'm the founder of the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program, and I'm the creator of the No Hassle newsletters, which is my very popular done for you newsletter program used by over 1,200 small business owners in 9 countries. I've authored these 6 amazing books over my shoulder, but most importantly, today, I am the host of Dream Business Radio, now in its 10th year. This is episode 536. So welcome, everybody. I know, isn't that crazy? Is that right? Is that a typo? No, 536. Another fantastic live edition featuring a very special guest, Corey Walker. Corey, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. So, folks, I was just I literally had a minute and a half with Corey before the live button because of my mistake. I was in the wrong studio, so to speak, and then I looked up and saw this isn't the right place. But anyway, log out, log back in. So anyway, it's going to be a great call. I'm very excited to talk with Corey. But let me get this out of the way. This episode of Dream Business Radio is brought to you by the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program. If you're an entrepreneur, small business owner who's tired of slow to no growth in your business, and especially if you're feeling like unfocused and overwhelmed and you'd really like to figure out a way to create multiple streams of revenue in your business, check out the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program led by me, Captain Jim, at Dream Biz Coaching, dreambizcoaching.com. All right, let me tell you a little bit about Corey, and we'll dive right in. She is the co-author of Instagram for Dummies, which is, I mean, I don't know how many titles he got by the Dummies, but I'm going to ask her
a
that.
ton. I don't even know.
Hundreds or thousands. All right. And also Instagram for Business for Dummies, a how-to guide of using Instagram to market your business. She is the owner of The Marketing Specialist, a digital marketing agency in El Dorado Hills, California. What a cool name. Like El Dorado. Corey works with several clients to produce social media strategies, including creating graphics, written content. She advises her clients on video, scheduling content, buying ads, tracking analytics, and she loves helping business owners achieve success in the online world. You can reach out to her at themarketingspecialist.com, which is a very cool URL. Corey, how are you again?
I am great. Thank you.
From El Dorado. What if you said
Yes.
I can live anywhere, but that's a very cool name. Or how did you end up in El Dorado?
I went to Sacramento State. They call it Sac State here, but I went to school in Sacramento, and my parents moved up to Placerville, which is above El Dorado Hills. It's all
Okay.
gold country. So
Yep.
49er, all that stuff is right here.
Oh.
So yeah, El Dorado Hills is just about 20 miles east of Sacramento. So
Very cool.
yeah.
So Instagram for Dummies. I'm going to get your backstory because I always start there. But Instagram for Dummies, and I think when I met you, I said, "Are you allowed to say that?" And it is a licensed title, correct?
Yes. And so I work with the For Dummies brand under Wiley. But yeah, no one can write just a For Dummies book. You have to go through Wiley as the publisher of that
Well, you
brand.
could, but you'd meet some very painful lawyers.
Oh yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yes.
So, Corey, as I like to say, the backstory for most of the entrepreneurs that I interview, let's not break precedent here. The backstory is usually as fascinating as the tips and strategies that we get to share. How did you come into the whole digital marketing space? Are you a first generation entrepreneur, or did you have parents, grandparents lead the way, show the other side of go collect a paycheck? Fill us in a little bit.
Okay, well, geez, let's see. Well, my dad is actually, he was a sales coach. He's retired now,
Okay.
but he was always an entrepreneur for, many, many years. He owned his own sales coaching business.
Mm-hmm.
And so funny enough, he's been writing some blog posts for me about sales. So that's kind of fun. So I got it from him. And then also I have two sisters, and they've kind of gone in between being self-employed and working for a company. They both work for companies now, but they were freelance graphic designers for years as well.
Oh, nice.
So my family is not foreign to the entrepreneur concept. Yeah.
Did they teach you about graphics, or did they do some of your graphics for you?
Kind of neither, actually. Well, no, my sisters, they would give me advice in the beginning because they were like all in graphic designers, very, high end. And I was more of a, simple designer. And like now I
Right.
use Canva versus, I mean, I have Photoshop and all those things, but yeah, so they're definitely more advanced.
Canva
Um,
is amazing. I mean,
oh,
you can look like a pro.
oh, I
I
love
mean,
Canva.
forget Illustrator, Photoshop. What are they? I mean, I still use Photoshop because I've used it for like 30 years now.
Yeah,
But Canva is ridiculously easy to create amazing graphics.
it is. And now, I don't know if you've heard, but they have this thing called Magic Write,
Mm-mm.
which is like Chat GPT within Canva.
Okay.
So it's an AI content creator that will write for you as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's really like they are just stepping up their game um, incredibly. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, my wife Stephanie actually was showing me she does some VA work for she does podcast editing and some VA work, and she's like, look what I can do in great Canva. Like started out at scratch and now she does all these amazing
Oh, it's
things.
amazing. Yeah. And if you have a
Yeah.
template, you can do, so much repetitive work in a short amount of time. And yeah. So
So how did
um,
you get started in social media? Did you go right toward Instagram, or have you been in for a long time before Instagram was Instagram? Like what was that path like?
oh my gosh. So I worked in corporate marketing for many years
Hmm.
first. And then when my first daughter was born, after she was about a year and a half, I was like, oh, I need more flexibility. I'm sick of, sitting in a cubicle while she's out, doing other things. So I went freelance. And that was before social media. So I did more marketing, like, newsletters, copywriting, some graphic design, really just, communication specialist, marketing specialist work, some overflow for companies and things like that. So that's where I started. And then I got a larger corporate client and just kept working with them. I still work with them. And it's been, I think, 17 years that I've been
Oh
doing
wow.
things for them. Yeah. But as Facebook was starting to grow, I said, I think maybe we should do something with this Facebook thing. This might be something. And so I'll never forget the manager there was like, well, we'll just dip our toes in the water and we'll just test it out. And now I'm managing all sorts of Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts, all of that. So yeah, I really started more Facebook and Twitter, and then started delving more into Instagram as it started growing. And then the book came about because one of my co-authors, Eric Buteau, he had already been a writer with Wiley, and he'd done some other books of this sort, dummies and
Hmm.
entrepreneurial books. So they had wanted him to do an Instagram for Dummies book, and he knew how to write the Dummies way, but he wasn't necessarily an Instagram marketing expert. So
Okay.
he knew that I was using it for my clients and I was having success with it. So he asked me to be the co-author, and then we invited Jen, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. So do you go back to the MySpace? That's almost like asking an inappropriate age question, but I mean, MySpace, I mean, if you've been in social media for that long, I mean, Facebook really was it wasn't the introductory, was
Yeah.
MySpace, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I never got into MySpace. I never had a MySpace account.
Hmm.
My first social platform, I think, was Twitter. So I did that for a little while, and then Facebook started getting big. And I didn't even use it in the beginning for marketing. I mean, no one did. It was more just like, oh my gosh, I can see my friends that I grew up with. I live in
Yeah.
California now. They're all in Maryland. So Facebook was really that connection that some of the people I hadn't talked to in, 10, 15 years, just because, we're across country. And so that
Hmm.
was really fun, just hopping on to see what my high school friends are doing.
Yeah. There was a point. So I pretty much like you, I started in Facebook and Twitter. Those were the two. And of course, I had been in YouTube for quite a while with
Hmm.
originally Newsletter Guru TV and then Dream Business Coach TV and all that. But and then all of a sudden Instagram and all these ones just kept, and now TikTok and all this. It's like every time you turn around, there's a new social media platform.
Hmm.
And people would say, well, oh, should I be on that one too? And I think, I'm sure you get this question a lot. With the plethora of options, how many should an entrepreneurial company or a small business, how many platforms should you be on?
I mean, my advice for that is normally as many as you can manage and manage well.
Okay.
So, if you say, I'm on Facebook, I get good results from Facebook and I'm killing it out there. But if I go on, Instagram or TikTok, I'm just not going to have the time to do it and it's just going to sit there. Then go all in on Facebook or whatever that platform is,
Hmm.
Instagram. So, I mean, usually I like to have people do, kind of two or three. And Facebook and Instagram is kind of an easy marriage because, you can post to them at the same time.
Right.
And there are a lot of schedulers that make it easier to do multiple platforms. But I don't like people to just, post and ghost is what I call it.
Yeah.
So, just posting it out there. And then if you're getting comments, you're not looking back at it. So if you can't reasonably manage or have someone manage for you, um, the platforms, then just stick to the ones that you think you can reasonably manage.
I think an accepted rule amongst most social media experts is you always want to tailor the content to the platform. Like one thing doesn't go
Yes,
across all of them. But
true.
Insta and Instagram, do they place much more favor on reels now than just postings? I mean, Facebook places much more attention on live videos than if you
Mhm.
upload a video. Is that still accurate?
Yes. Well, yes and no.
Okay.
So it has been like reels, reels, reels. That was, the ultimate, and they were just pushing reels like crazy. And if
Mm,
you had, just a regular post, forget about it. It's not going to be seen.
yeah.
But the Kardashians spoke, and, and everything changed. No, but the Kardashians did say, like, we want our photos back. We want to be able to see, just regular photos, post photos. We don't want to do videos all the time. And a lot of, just everyday normal people said that too. And so finally, a few months ago, the head of Instagram, Adam Mazzari, said, "Okay, we hear you. We're gonna, dial back the reels and bring back, photos and carousels and things like that higher in the algorithm again." So that has been happening. I have definitely noticed a shift. I will say, if you are trying to get the biggest reach, though, Reels is still going to be like your go-to.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it takes longer unless you just, you can throw something out there, and sometimes the ones that you spent 5 minutes on are the ones that go nuts. But um, it's easier to schedule a post that's just a, regular graphic image, or you can
Yep.
even have someone do that for you. So there's definitely a lot of ease in doing it that way.
Are Reels
So
the same as like TikTok videos? I mean, is that just another platform for short little videos? Are they basically the same?
yeah, I mean, they're the same. They're the same size. They have a little bit different time windows. So Instagram only goes up to 90 seconds, and TikTok, they were three. They may have even gone to 10, but they're at least 3 minutes. So you have a little bit more time on TikTok, but for the most part, the successful videos are going to be, under a minute, even under 30 seconds, get more attention usually
Mm.
because people have the attention span of a goldfish these days. So, yeah, but if you are looking for a way to expand your reach and you can manage, the comments on both platforms, if you create a video outside of either Instagram or TikTok, you could upload each of them, in a scheduler, and they would perform the same. They're, same size and everything.
So, I know what a scheduler is. Are there just an enormous number of them, or is there one or two that you recommend?
I personally like Later because I do a lot with Facebook and Instagram. They do have a TikTok uploader now, so I
Hmm.
can put one video up and I'll put it in for Instagram Reels and TikTok. They have LinkedIn, so they have a good variety. So that's the one I like. But there's all sorts. There's Sprout Social. There's Agorapulse. There's Metricool. Buffer. I mean, there's so many, and it just kind of depends on how many tools you want. So
Okay.
So like Sprout Social and Agora Pulse are amazing and they have all the bells and whistles. But if you're not going to use them, you're paying kind of a lot of money for stuff that you're not going to use. Later gives me what I need and it doesn't cost quite as much as the other ones.
So, I mean, right now you've got a big reputation as one of the experts in Instagram, but you are also a social media manager. Like you handle social
Yes.
media, not just Instagram for different companies, correct?
Yes, that is true.
Very good. So my research bears out, right? So most of the people that follow me, watch this program, listen to the program, are small business owners, from
Yes.
solopreneurs to maybe 5, maybe 10 employees at the most.
Mhm.
And I would say one of the things they all have in common, for the most part, very time starved. The whole wearing many hats. How do you come up with an effective overall social media strategy?
Mhm. Yeah, usually I tell people that they want to start with some kind of content pillars. And what I mean
Hmm.
by that is, choose 3 to 5 things that your business embodies. So maybe like if it's a fitness person, maybe they're going to talk about um, their favorite workouts. They're going to talk about something, home life, and then they're going to talk about their nutrition. And those are their 3 buckets, and they don't really veer too much from those. So that's kind of a good starting point. And then I usually tell people to figure out, or I can help them with it, where your audience is and who you're trying to speak to. So I like people to create an avatar. So again, back to the fitness, like if you are a fitness coach and you really have honed in on fitness for women, 40 to 60,
Okay.
um, then you can start talking to those people instead of just kind of spraying out information to anybody, really like talking to those people about things that they would be interested in and can relate to. So that's kind of the beginning. And then we just go through, whether we're going to be doing, how many reels we're going to do a week if we're doing that, how we can collect the content. And my dream clients have some content already created that we can
Hmm.
schedule out, but I also help people with that. So um taking photos that fall within those pillars, and just thinking through who you want to talk to and what your main purpose is.
How often should a small business be posting on Instagram? And I'm assuming it's probably a similar answer if I was to ask you about Facebook. Is that true or?
Yeah, I mean, most of my small business clients, I will have them post 3 kind of static posts, just like a photo, but I will have them do at least one of those be a carousel because carousels perform better than just one image.
Hmm.
So 3 kind of photo or graphic posts a week, 2 reels a week, and then if you can do a few stories a day, that works well.
2 reels a week, right? Oh, so I thought you might say like one a day or something, but 2 a week is
No,
fine.
no, 2 a week. I mean, if you could do them daily, that would be awesome, but most people
Hmm.
don't have the bandwidth, to do that. It's just an unrealistic goal for most people. So I try to come up with realistic plans that people will be able to follow instead of, doing this. It's kind of like your diet in the new year. You go all in and go crazy, and then come February, you're sitting on the couch again. It's the same thing with reels. If I say, okay, we're gonna do 5 a week, people get all jazzed up and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And then come February, they can't even muster up one a week. So
Well, when I was out many years ago, my speaking on newsletter marketing and things like that, and people would say, "Well, what's going to keep it from working well?" And I said, "Lack of consistency. If you launch hey, it's our new monthly newsletter. We love our customers. We're going to share information with you, and this is our monthly is what I subscribe to, and then your second monthly issue comes out 6 months later. That's a problem,
it's exactly the same thing.
because they go, no,
Exactly. Yeah.
newsletters didn't work, right?"
Yeah.
Um, So I've seen your Instagram account. I mean, obviously, if you're a social media manager and you're teaching social media and helping people, you got to be doing it well. So you are. But
Thank you.
how do you find the time personally? I mean, do you have a team of people that create content for you and you're helping your customers, or is it,
It's a little bit of both. So I do have a virtual assistant that helps me with a lot of the designed posts,
hmm
and that has helped me tremendously keep up with, consistently posting things. So that for sure has helped having a virtual assistant. Now the reels, I mean, that's me. So that there's no way around that. I have to do those. I try to batch create, like on a Monday, I'll try to batch create a few and just switch out my outfits, so that it looks like it's, all different days. And
Yeah.
some people don't even do that. Some people go the other way. And so you can't tell what day it is. They wear the exact same thing in every single reel.
Yeah, I
So
think you're giving
that's,
people a little too much credit to say, "Oh, she wore that yesterday."
yeah, like everyone's just, oh, what's she doing next? I know
Yeah,
they're
right.
not, they don't really care that much, but yes.
Yeah. I was asked a question one time. I was being interviewed, and at the time, I was doing weekly videos, and I had my podcast. I was on like literally hundreds as a guest. My blog. I'll do all this different stuff, and somebody asked me about the frequency and are you oh, I know what it was about repurposing content. And are you
Mhm.
afraid someone's going to see this blog post here, then it appears here, and then you talk about it? And I said, if I thought if I thought even the biggest gym fan read every blog post, watch every video, listen, the biggest problem I would have would be my ego, because nobody pays attention that much, right?
That is true.
I'm really curious about the reels. How long are they? And do you just record, and then it's over and you clip it, or do you sort of have a little script in mind that's that size?
Yeah, I usually have something in mind. So you can do up to 90 seconds,
Okay.
but I will tell you a little insider tip.
Okay.
So the shorter reels usually perform a little bit better, going back to that, goldfish
hmm
mentality. Um, and so when you're starting your reel, if you're filming it within Instagram, it has a little thing that says 15-second, 30-second, 60-second, 90-second. So if I know it's going to be a super short one,
hmm
I will pick either the 30-second or 15-second, because now this is just my own theory. This could
Okay.
not be true, but I feel like Instagram is somehow categorizing those as well, because anytime I do a longer video, it doesn't usually work as well. So,
If you
but
pick the 60-second option and you record 45 minutes of content, what happens to the extra 15 seconds? Does it clip off, or is it
yeah, yeah. I mean, as soon as you stop recording, it's
right?
only going to be 45 seconds. It's not like there's going to be 15 seconds of dead air out there.
Yeah.
So it's just saying up to. But I will tell you, if you say you hit the 30-second and then it starts going 31, 32, it will shut off.
I
So
see.
if you don't know, if you're just going to start talking, which I don't really recommend, I recommend you have something in mind of what you're going to say. Then try to pick the appropriate seconds length.
So you can only say so much and say 30 seconds, 6 seconds, or 9 seconds. So i- do you leave kind of the heavy hitting to the blog posts or Facebook? And is the real, does it lean more toward entertaining or engaging than teaching? I'm assuming, right?
Well, it can be kind of both, but it is more of a entry level type thing. So what I mean by that is, you might say, as a learning thing, you might say, here's my top 3 tips for a successful reel. And then, I might just have 3 things up there, and then you could in your caption say something like, link in bio for the full blog post about, why this is important. Yeah, so it's more about capturing their attention to move them down that funnel. So this is something I talk about a lot, using Instagram as a funnel. And so at the top would be reels, because it goes out to a lot more people that aren't even your followers.
hmm
So if you can grab that quick bit of attention and then have them go to your profile, you're kind of moving them down that funnel. And so then your main feed is one step closer, and then you're going to share a little bit more information. So maybe you do a carousel post that goes into that information about that reel a little bit deeper. And then once they're kind of liking that, then maybe they'll be looking at your stories. And your stories are where you build up that, like, know, trust factor.
Right.
And you can be talking more about, that's where I'll post, like today I posted something about my cats. So I don't post that stuff on my main feed or in my reels, but stories, they go away in 24 hours. I will just pop some of my personal stuff, because then people realize, like, oh, she's just like a normal person doing normal stuff just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to sell something, you can do a live and talk a lot more in depth about it and do your sales.
One of the ways, we got about 5 minutes left, Corey. One of the ways I prepare for these interviews is I always go to somebody's website and go right to their blog. So first of all, I want to see how active they are and things like that. So you got some pretty cool blog posts. I'd like to ask you. So is there anything Instagram related that you shouldn't do on Instagram? Like, what would be the one or two classic mistakes when you see it, you go, oh boy, they're not doing that right?
Yeah, so I see a lot of people still doing, all just one image, so if your whole thing is just, one photo
Like
after
a
another.
picture of them, which might be their headshot. It's the same one every single time.
Yeah, or just even stock photos. Don't even get me
Oh,
started. Like, you can use a stock photo if you're overlaying other text and making it more interesting, but I see this with, like, um, accounting or something. It's just like someone looking at, pointing at the screen. It's like, oh, like, no one
and you
wants
see the
that.
green arrow going up or the
Yes,
handshake.
yes, all that. Do not do that. Like, that is so boring and so awful. So that's one. Another one is, people forget that you can't link out on a regular Instagram post. So they'll put like this whole, HTTP blah 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 blah, that's like 30 characters
Right.
long, and no one's going to copy and paste that. Like, use the link in bio and utilize it fully. So use a link tree tool or something that allows more links on there than just shooting them over to the website where they have to figure out, like, okay, where do I go now?
Well, if you do that, if you say link in bio and then you in your bio, you make it that link for that post. What about on the post you do 3 days from now where it says link in bio and it's a different link?
So that's what I'm talking about. It's called link tree. There's several different forms of this,
Okay.
but it's a link that you can put, 10 links on. So I use one, it's called Snip Feed, and you go in and you can switch out links, but I can tell someone to go to link in bio, and I could have, 10 different posts that all say link in bio that go there, and all those links are there.
Very cool. Okay, I got time for one more question, and it's going to be this one because you were already booked. I was excited to talk to you, but on your blog, you want to grow your business, write a newsletter. I'm like, right on, right? Because I'm a newsletter guy for 30 plus years. What's your experience with newsletters?
So, I have a weekly newsletter that goes out.
Okay.
Actually, it just went out this morning. So I try to do it every Tuesday. Sometimes it gets a little delayed to Thursday, but yeah, so I have a weekly newsletter that I do for myself, write it all myself. And I repurpose some of my content, what I posted on Instagram, or if I did a blog post, that all kind of melds in there together. And any offers I have. And then I also do newsletters for some of my clients. So
Wonderful.
I mostly use MailChimp because it's easy, but I know there's other more sophisticated ones that can be used.
Well, good for you. So Corey, how can I know, folks? You should get her book, Instagram for Dummies. And where do you want them to get that? Just go to Amazon, get it on your website, or
Either one, it's right on my homepage of themarketingspecialist.com, or they can go directly to Amazon and just search, Instagram for Dummies 2022, because it came out in December. And yeah, so pretty much everything to know about me is on themarketingspecialist.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Corey C. Walker, and I post several times a week, several reels, several posts, and it's all very educational. I always put, latest updates, all that stuff.
Um, just had another question I was going to ask you, and it completely flew out of my head. Okay, so get Instagram for Dummies, folks. That's what happens when you get old. Instagram for Dummies. Corey, what a great interview! Thank you so much. You shared some really cool stuff. Appreciate it
Oh,
so
you're
much.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
Hey, folks, that wraps up this very special interview with Corey Walker. Again, I know what it was. Back up. The marketingspecialist.com. It's a great
Yes.
URL. How long have you had that? I'm just curious because it seems like so many great URLs are gone. You must have had it for
I've
a
had it
while.
like 17 years.
Wow.
So yeah, and I'm not giving that baby up. I'm like that. I keep on joking that's my retirement account. I'm going to sell it to somebody for.
I know, right? I mean, it's a great one. So my hat's off. I had to ask that. I'm like the marketingspecialist.com. That is a cool website. So, all right, there we go. Hey, folks, that wraps up this very special interview with Corey Walker. I highly recommend you connect with her, follow her, get her book, and learn from her. She's very smart about Instagram, but also, as you've seen in the last half hour, social media in general. If you're not horribly unimpressed with my interview skills, you can connect with me at getjimpalmer.com. If you're interested in joining me and about 27 other smart entrepreneurs in the Dream Business Mastermind, you can go to dreambizcoaching.com. Remember, as part of my legacy building program, I've made all 6 of my books, digital version, free. So you can go to Amazon. Those would be Kindle books. At Barnes & Noble, they are Nook books, and they are all in the iBook store. No opt in, no nothing. Just go get a good education on me. But that's it. Until this time next week, another fantastic interview. I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach. You take good care.